Good morning. Oh boy. Lots of pondering going on here with me this morning, which is what I went to bed with last night. And I've noticed before, but I'm repeating it now, that oftentimes, at least in my experience, what I go to bed with, I wake up with. It's like I spend the whole night sleeping and the issue continues the next day. And that's oftentimes the mood. If I go to bed in a troubled mood, I may wake up feeling drained, as in a couple of days ago. If I go to bed feeling elated, I tend to wake up elated. There might be a message in this. Maybe we should watch what we go to bed with or clear ourselves a little bit better than I sometimes do, most of the time do, uh, and just make sure that our thoughts and our feelings are centered and focused before we go to sleep. Or maybe that's not your experience, it's my experience. Which leads me into today's title, 2012, What Do We Really Know? My friend Christopher Timms, and I include the link to his page on my website, was here at the Mary Horgan Center for Spiritual Development again last night. His topic was spiritual deceptions. Much of the presentation paralleled things I talked about yesterday. He based most of what he was teaching on ancient history and the mystery schools. As I ponder this again this morning, the question arises again. What do we really know? Yes, there was some debate last night. His premise, you all know, if you've been listening for any length of time, what I think the biggest lie is. To him, the biggest lie is that we have a soul. Now, I've never argued that point. That's irrelevant. What name we give to what we are in the present here and now and in the super self, whatever we call that, whether we call it higher self or soul or whatever, to me that's irrelevant. But he agreed that the reason for him, the reason the idea of the soul is a big lie is because it produces the concept of separation, which to me that's the big lie. And yet people that are very much separation consciousness, in separation consciousness, to them it's not a lie. It's the reality. I mean, look around. I'm me, you're you, this is this, and that is that. And Christopher, in going back to the ancient mystery schools and stuff like that, said that in the previous age, this is the Piscean age that we're coming out of now and going into the age of Aquarius, we're on that cusp period. But prior to that, there wasn't this duality consciousness, this separation consciousness. There was a unity consciousness. And I raised the question, but there were wars back in the Tauran age, the pre-Piscean age. There were wars there. If they were so unity consciousness, why were there wars? Well, of course, his answer is, well, they changed the history. And I have come to believe that the history that we're told is not 100% accurate. I believe that. But I don't know what the real history is. Now, yes, I've had glimpses of what I think of for myself as past lives. I was raised a fundamentalist Christian. He said that until 535 or 555 AD, the church believed in reincarnation. And then it was, there was a pope that was actually imprisoned arrested and imprisoned because he wouldn't sign the new edict, the new papal decree. I can't remember what he said his name was, but he wouldn't sign this decree which outlawed reincarnation in Christianity. Up until that time, he said Christians just knew that reincarnation was the way it was, or the transmigration of souls as it's described, but Christopher says that came after in the dualistic thinking when they added souls, because souls didn't exist in the earliest writings. The concept of souls, even in the indigenous cultures, doesn't exist. The separation consciousness doesn't exist. We are all one big web, one big family. And I do agree that that's true. We are one big family. But we get into these arguments when we think we know what the past was. And when we're basing our life view on whatever we perceive the past to be. Now, I keep having people, since, is it Santos or something? He's an Australian fellow, black curly hair. His last name starts with a B. I can't remember what it is right off the top of my head. I've watched a number of his videos. I like most of what he says. I agree with most of what he says. But he's of the school, I believe he's of the school, that doesn't believe Jesus really is a historical person. And there's a whole school of people that don't believe Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus that we call the Christ in Christianity. They don't believe that Jesus actually existed because well, his life parallels much more ancient mythological archetypes, that it's just a made-up story. It's just pure fiction. It's a legend. It's a myth. It's not real. There's no historic relevance to it, because Josephus didn't put it in there very much. Well, see, to me, I grew up as a fundamentalist Christian, and I believed it. I believed the Bible was the Word of God. I grew up that way. I don't have any problem, because I developed a mystical relationship with Jesus that was beyond just the Bible. My knowledge of Jesus was experiential and personal and intimate. I felt I knew Jesus, and I still do. I still do. And I have no problem believing that Jesus was an actual historical human being that walked on terra firma and lived in that latter part of the last century BC and created the new century AD according to Christian reckoning of time. And again, Christian reckoning of time. What does that mean? What I'm trying to grasp myself and to challenge you to grasp. And I think the meetings like that Christopher had here last night, and the Santos fellow, or whatever his name is, Mr. B, it's good to think about these things. And it's good to weigh them. What if that is the truth? What if it is? And what if what I believe isn't? That's why I said yesterday, I'm learning to hold my beliefs loosely. I'm learning to not take myself quite so seriously in what I think I know. Because the truth is, the only thing that I really know is right here, right now. Right here, right now. I've had times in my life where I've had certain experiences. And when I've gone back with people that shared the experience, there's been a couple of times that I can think of, especially from my early childhood, where my remembrance of what happened and another person's remembrance of what happened, who was also there participating in the same experience with me, our perceptions of what happened are different. I remember things she doesn't remember, and she remembers things I don't remember. And yet it was the same experience for both of us. Duh. How does that happen? Well, it obviously happens because we color our experience according to our own filters and according to our own subjective perception. And if this is true, why are we spending so much time arguing about who's right and wanting to make the people that don't see it that way wrong? Why can't we just say, okay, that's his or her perception, and it's valid for them? I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to see it that way, but it's valid for them. They see it that way. And I do agree with what Christopher said, and I've said it myself before, and I've heard it from others. Nothing has meaning except the meaning we give it. And then it's meaningful for us. Life is not about trying to do this one-upmanship game of proving another person wrong. Did you hear what I just said? It's not about making anybody wrong. It's about recognizing that everybody has a subjective perception and loving them anyway. Hear me. This is the message my Spirit gives me. This is the message the Holy Spirit gives me. This is the message I get from the Christ, the Buddhic one, the part of me that's bigger than just this present point in time. That I am interconnected with a web of life that is fantastic, and it connects me with you and everybody else. It connects me with my friends. It connects me with my enemies. It connects me with all of life. And my job is not to determine who's right and wrong. That's an ego game. That's why I call religions ego religions, when it's one-upmanship. My God is bigger than your God. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you get it? Oh, my God's called Allah. My God's called Yah or Jehovah or Yahweh. My God's called Krishna. My God's called Brahman. My God's called this or called that. Give me a break. What difference does it make which name we put on it? There's a creator that created all things. And as I said yesterday, we live in that creator. Creation lives in that creator, and that creation is the feminine of the masculine creator, and they are wedded to each other. They are one. Can you not see that? When I see that, it brings a level of peace. It makes me less argumentative. I don't have to prove that I'm right. I give up that silly game of trying to think that my answer is the only true answer because I've just uncovered these facts about my past and about my foundation of understanding. When are we going to get beyond this, folks? 2012. And it will manifest more and more in 2013 and 14 and 15. The world is not coming to an end. We are creating a new paradigm. Or you could say a new paradigm is being created through us. Or you could say a new paradigm is descending upon us. Pick your perspective. Do you want to be at war with those that have a different perspective? Do you want to be at war with yourself, as you cannot make up your mind which one is true, and you're living in a state of confusion? Do you want to be at war? Or do you want to just stand back and laugh at yourself and say, isn't it ridiculous? I'm having this internal battle with me because I don't know what the truth is. What is truth? That was one of the questions Tim raised last night. Christopher raised last night. And it's the question that Pilate asked Jesus that he didn't answer. What is truth? My answer is I am. Love, life, light, laughter. The L's, the 4 L's. Life, love, light, laughter. Don't take yourself so seriously, folks. Just love one another, as we are all loved, each allowed to have our own experience, to develop our own perceptions, and all of them are valid. What do we really know? We know that we're here now, and we have a choice to love, which is what we are, or not. What's your choice this morning? Namaste.